Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Zach with Zach Attack Cards, and we're coming back at you with another old school opening. This is the third in this series, and this time we're checking out 1989 Donruss Baseball. So not going to be as riveting, I would say, as the 1989 Fleer was. Obviously, where we were able to pull some really nice error cards, you know, the F-Face Ripken as well as the Randy Johnson card, which I do have to make a slight correction to. It wasn't the completely blacked out version, it was the partially blacked out version. So overall, that was just an incredible box, an absolutely incredible box. 1989 Donruss, we're going to be looking for a lot of the same rookies. We're going to be looking for Randy Johnson, we're going to be looking for Ken Griffey Jr., we're going to be looking for John Smoltz, we're going to be looking for Gary Sheffield, we're going to be looking for Craig Biggio. There's a total, I believe, just those four, minus Gary Sheffield, are the Hall of Fame rookies in this one. But it's pretty abnormal for sets to have that many Hall of Fame rookies in it. So 89 was one heck of a year. And let's see what we can get out of this box, shall we? What we're going to do is we're going to try to oh my, it actually worked out pretty well. And then it ruined it because I couldn't put it down properly. But anyway, once again, these all came from the same place. Once again, it's the exact same place that the Fleer came from. So I trust that there is no tampering, but we'll take a look as we go and try to see if we can determine if any of these were resealed. But beyond that, I mean, there's not that much value here, to be honest with you. So I don't even understand why you would do that. You know, maybe during the pandemic, you were, you know, looking for stuff like this and trying to get Griffeys and things. But I mean, nowadays, the biggest value is probably the Griffey in a high grade, which is very hard to get because they were just pumping these out at such a high clip that the, the QC was not great. The puzzles, Warren Spahn, as you can sort of see there, also shows it on the box here. So nothing on the bottom. So Donruss was not like Fleer in that regard. The other thing to note about this set is there's a lot of, you know, some punctuation errors that everybody tries to talk about. I mean, they're just not, they're not really that valuable. I mean, to me, they're not even really an error. It's just a minor issue in printing. You know, here's another one, right? So a lot of guys will say this is a Donruss card, right? But it has Leaf on the back instead of Donruss. It's, you know, they're one in the same company. You know, it's anyways. Goose Gossage to kick things off. Got a Diamond Kings, Mark Grace, so we will get to see some cool Diamond Kings in here. Like we saw in the first opening, where we were hunting the Donruss Elites. The Big Cat, Andres Galarraga, also an insert. Jose Lind. Got Will the Thrill. Vince Coleman, who was a stud at this time. Wade Boggs, the Hall of Famer. Armstrong, Wellman, Henke with big old goggles on. Gary Sheffield. All right, so pack number one. We knock off at least one of the rookies that we're after. Not the Hall of Fame one, but still one of the rookies. Ron Jones being a rookie and Don August. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. We're looking for 5 rookies in this one. And we've knocked off the first one. Probably try to build the puzzle when I'm all done here. That was one fun thing that I did with my dad back in the day. All the ones that had puzzles and stuff like that, even back in the 90s, boxes were very cheap. So there's Don Mattingly. So we would pick up a box and then try to build the puzzle. It was pretty surprising that you wouldn't get all the pieces in one box. You'd usually get close. You'd get within a couple of pieces. Roger Clemens. And then you'd have to, you know, buy a couple of extra packs or just buy the pieces off somebody. There's Mike Schmidt. But This is also one of those sets that's not for everybody. A lot of people aren't a huge fan of the kind of multicolored borders or whatever you want to call it. So I got to be honest with you, I like it a little bit better than the Fleer. I mean, I like some color. I don't like just straight up gray. So Steve Bedrosian on the Diamond King. Dante Bichette, Bo Bichette's father. That's his rookie. Yeah. I mean, there are some other at least notable-ish rookies in here. There's Vince Coleman. And if we get them, I'll be sure to shout them out. There's the man, Cal Ripken Jr. Loving it. Probably got about 5 of that card in my collection, so. But this is just one of those sets, very affordable. I think I got this box for 30 bucks. I got another box for 20 bucks. You can find them for relatively cheap, and they're just a real fun opening. And I look at it this way, like 30 bucks barely gets you a blaster nowadays. So at least if you're ordering something or you're opening something like this, you have multiple shots at rookies and stuff that have already made it to the Hall of Fame, as well as maybe some error cards depending on the set that you're looking for. It's just a lot of fun, you know, and the reason I can honestly say that, in my opinion, the reason people don't do it more is because you're not going to strike it rich. You know, like you can open a box that has 10 Griffeys in it, and unless you get one that's a PSA 10, and you're probably looking at 45 bucks. Probably they go for about $5 a piece. You know, even the decently centered ones, like you have to get a very high grade in order to get a premium on them. Got the checklist card. There's Mike Greenwell. A little bit of a different picture there. So next time you find yourself at your LCS, maybe if they have it, not every LCS has the junk wax stuff, but I say take a peek. You'd be surprised. You can get quite a lot of cards and go for some really cool stuff. Felix Jose. At the same time, there we go. We knock off another Smoltz. Our first Hall of Fame rookie shows up. We have Gerald Perry. There's Jerry Don Gleaton. Unlike Fleer, that didn't want to put his middle name in, or I don't know if that's his middle name or just maybe his first name is Jerry Don. I'm not 100%, but pretty much all these other rookie cards, I mean, I'm going to sleeve them up just because I'm pulling them, but you can find them in $1 or less bin at your local shops, card shows and stuff. So it's really one of those things where it's just a lot of fun to rip. That's the way I kind of look at these, my old school openings. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Bobby Bonilla. I did add a playlist to the channel, so if you want to check out the first 2 videos, you can definitely check them out. Definitely exciting stuff. I was more than surprised with how both of those videos turned out. So I'm going to be looking to do this quite a bit more. Probably not as regularly as weekly. This is just another one that I had on hand that I wanted to open. And at the same time, I think it's cool to go back and kind of see where cards have come from. You know, just a whole host of pictures, like, you know, that guy, somebody just told him a joke or something off camera. There's Lee Smith. Vince Coleman again. You know, we go from these to, you know, the high gloss chrome that we have nowadays. There's Dave Parker. You know, not only that, these are very, you know, like very bendable. So they're definitely made, oh, nice stash. They're definitely made out of a different, you know, type of paper or cardboard or whatever you want to call it than even the non-chrome stuff today. Darren Dalton. But it also seemed like the guys had a lot more fun when they were taking their pictures and stuff. Some didn't, and that made for even better pictures. But but I think that's another thing that's pretty cool and just different. As I think nowadays everybody's kind of trying to get the perfect picture to put on a card. Got Mark Grace again, Dave Winfield, there we go. George Brett, awesome MVP card there. And the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. Already running out of space in my sorter. Let's see what we're starting with. Gardner. Nolan Ryan's a good one. But there's Alex Sanchez, so this is one of the guys you'll see on, yep, and like I said, since it has Leaf on the back, everybody calls that out as an error. I forget where the period, oh, I think after the INC, there's supposed to be a period, but I don't know, it's like all these are missing it, so I could be wrong. But he's one of the big guys that you'll see on eBay for 50 bucks or something, so there you go. I'll be glad to give them to you for nothing if you really want them. Kirby Puckett. Mike Scott was an excellent pitcher there for a few years. Still on the lookout for Griffey, Johnson, and Biggio. Definitely getting a decent number of duplicates already, which is interesting considering the set is so big. I think it's a 600 and something card set. So more than enough to give you 36 packs worth of different cards. Let's see Ellis Burks, Carlton Fisk, nice Diamond Kings. Andy Van Slyke was an excellent player once again there for a couple of years. One of the bright spots for the Pirates in the late 80s, early 90s. Hopefully they have a bigger bright spot in Paul Skeens nowadays. John Kruk. Fred McGriff. So see, this is the other thing that was interesting about the old cards. Like nowadays we talk, Barry Bonds, there you go. Nowadays we talk about, you know, cold packs or packs without hits and stuff like that. It was not unusual in the late 80s, early 90s to have quote-unquote cold packs. Like as you're seeing, not every pack here has an insert. Not every pack here has a rookie. Some have 2 rookies. Some have a couple of inserts. There's Craig Biggio. All right. And then some of these guys that are rookies, they're not rated rookies for whatever reason. Of course, with the older stuff too, you got to be careful of the corners when you're putting them in the sleeves. Very easy to soften up that corner. Let's see. Do you think we're going to get all the rookies we're after in this box? Do you think we'll get multiple of the rookies we're after in this box? Dale Murphy. It's again one of the best players to not be in the Hall of Fame. No Dice Jim Rice. Willing to bet very, very few of you watching this know where that quote comes from. But it's from an excellent little movie called The Slammin' Salmon. Manwaring, Gibson, Welch, Long, Sutcliffe, Blackjack McDowell. Nothing there. Looks like we're keeping a decent pace on this one. We'll probably try to speed things up a little bit if we If I notice we're going too long. Kirby Puckett on the MVP insert. Also, you notice the inserts were just so much more, what do you call it, simpler back then, right? No super shine or all kinds of stuff happening all over the card with it. Kevin Brown. Sandy Alomar Jr., that's actually a decent one. Not in the Hall of Fame, but had a decently long career. Mike Pagliarulo. Also just some fun to say names. Rafi Palmeiro, Wally Joyner. Man, I remember buying these packs for like $1.50 when I was a kid. Gary Carter's a good one. Never pack pulled a Griffey, so it'll be fun to see if we can do that today. Got another Alex Sanchez in this pack. Mark Grace again, Wally Joyner, Mike Scott, Ozzie Smith, Saberhagen. Yep, there's Alex Sanchez again. So there you go. According to eBay, I just made $100 on this box. So, well, made 70 as the box cost me 30. Luis Medina, Andy Maldonado, Dave Parker. It's another interesting thing, the card show I was at over the weekend, which if you haven't watched my previous video, go check it out. There were some really nice pickups. There he is! Ken Griffey Jr. Definitely not centered up great, but I will absolutely take it. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. And suddenly we're down to one. All we're waiting for is Mr. Randy Johnson to make his appearance. But as I was saying, it was a lot of fun, the card show, but also just a lot of, it's so interesting to watch, you know, people try to make deals with some of the dealers and such, and just not a lot of respect there sometimes, man, which really, you know, bugs me. Like you'll have it, for example, you know, what I saw on at the show was a younger guy. I'm not going to call him a kid. I don't know exactly how old he was, but he was definitely a younger guy. And he was trying to make a deal with a dealer there, and they were like $30 off. There's the big unit, Randy Johnson. And just like that, we've hit everybody we're after. So now we're going to be looking for anybody else. The 40-40 Club. That's a cool card. Huh. Harold Reynolds. But to go back to the story, they were about $30 off, but that was after a whole bunch of negotiating. They had already negotiated a few times, and they were still about $30 off. So what the dealer basically said was, you know, if you can't get to my price, then, you know, I'm afraid I can't sell it to you, because that's about the bottom of what I'm looking to get. You know, I'm not gonna take anything else. I'm not gonna take anything less. And so, you know, like anybody you see on YouTube or whatever, you know, the kid asks him to meet in the middle, and he says that he can't, and, you know, he appreciates it and all that kind of stuff. Like, I thought the dealer was, you know, being respectful. And then, but then the you know, this kid kind of made a big deal out of the fact that he wasn't doing that with him. You know, like he was saying, it wasn't meeting him in the middle. Like he was saying things like, well, of course you can, you know, like you just don't want to. And then, what else did he say? Like, you know, you're still making excellent money, etc. Cal Ripken, there's my guy. And the guy, you know, the dealer once again basically said that, you know, I've looked at eBay, I know what the prices are, I know what I'm into them for, and that's, you know, basically what I want. So, you know, it seemed like a decent argument, you know, I mean, if I was judging it anyways. But the kid was like, yeah, but, you know, on eBay you have all these fees and stuff like that, which is very true. But the guy was like, yeah, but I'm already at comps of eBay. So, and that's before Greg Maddox. And that's before we try to do any of that kind of stuff. You know, like if I were to put them on there, I feel like I could probably do a little bit better. So, you know, it became quite an impasse, but the kid just wouldn't give up. And I was just like, just let it go. Like he just, you know, there's 74 more tables here or whatever there was that day. So like, I get that you want a specific card and stuff, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in my thinking, but I just feel like if you're unable to meet at a price, then you just move on, you know, and try to be respectful the whole time. I mean, that's all we can ask for. I don't think anybody was being insulting or whatever, but I mean, after a while you could tell that, you know, they were becoming louder and stuff, and less people were coming to the table because of what was going on. I happened to be to the table next to him. If you're curious how I heard and watched all of this, I was looking at stuff on that table when I was hearing everything that was going on. So just interesting stuff. I always find that whenever I always try to talk to the person when I get to the table and stuff. I feel like it's, you know, kind of an etiquette type of thing, you know, plus it pays, you know, if you have a better relationship with the guy and, you know, you're on nicer terms, then I feel like he has a little more incentive maybe to give you that better deal. So I don't know, perhaps I'm wrong in my thinking there too, but the other thing that I had at the show that was at least personally annoying was I was looking in a 3-row shoebox, and the place was packed, I'll give it that, but there was another guy, again, a younger guy, not super younger, and I'm also not trying to paint a picture that it's only young folks. I'm just trying to paint a picture of what exactly it was so that you can kind of, you know, have a picture in your own mind as to what was going on. But he kind of walks up behind me and then walks to my left and starts digging in the exact same row at the exact same spot that I'm in. And I was like, dude, I feel like there's some sort of etiquette that occurs at these shows. Like, we can look in the same box, but like not the same row. I mean, you're pulling out stuff that I haven't looked at yet. I've got stuff you haven't looked at yet. I just felt like that was kind of annoying, and it definitely bothered me a bit. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Maybe, again, it's just my thing, but we have 4 packs to go. So far, no repeat rookies at all. Plenty of duplicates of other cards. Let's move these up here. There we go. Once again, try to build the set of this guy when we're all done, but Gerald Perry. And just like that, we get a duplicate. John Smoltz. Definitely not the best one to get a duplicate of. But, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, so arguably better than a duplicate of Gary Sheffield. No offense to Mr. Sheffield. Let's see if we can get any others in these last 3 packs. Greg Olson. Big name back then. Unfortunately, never lived up to the hype, but a big name. There's the puzzle. Forgot that they always put the puzzle in there as a card. 2 packs to go. And then we will wind down this latest old school opening. I hope you guys are enjoying the series as much as I am bringing it to you. If you have any recommendations for stuff to rip, I would love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll check it out. I've got a local LCS, like I said, that has a decent amount of this kind of stuff. And I mean, I'd even be willing to check on eBay, of course. I mean, they have everything, right? Let's see here. Last pack. See if there's any last pack magic to see any of these rookies one more time. Feel like we've seen Jose Bautista half a dozen times. Fernando Valenzuela. And Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt's dad. So we end up with all 5 of the rookies that we go hunting for, as well as a duplicate John Smoltz. Not hating on that. Randy Johnson, looking incredibly angry. Ken Griffey, maybe too early in the morning or didn't quite want his picture taken. A Biggio in action shot. Smoltzy with a bit of a shy smile. And Sheffield in the action shot. So, nice stuff. And a lot of fun to rip, as I was saying, and very affordable. These boxes can be had on eBay for between 20 and 30 bucks without too much trouble. But with that said, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Love bringing this series to you, so certainly let me know down in the comments of, like I said, any recommendations for things I should open next. And I'll check them out, most definitely. But head down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the like if you're enjoying this old school opening series. If not, do not worry. We have plenty of other stuff coming your way. We will have more card show pickups. We will have more new school rips, or, you know, rips of current product for sure in the near future. But we have videos. We put out videos every Monday and Friday, and love to have you along for the ride. And last thing I want to say is just thank you guys so much. The comments and the reception to the first couple of videos have been absolutely tremendous, and I appreciate each and every one of you for, you know, reaching out and checking my stuff out. I can appreciate that they're longer, so I appreciate you hanging in there and checking them out. But I'll try to condense them a bit more in the future. I'm definitely looking for ways to do that. But just thank you. Thanks very much. I truly appreciate you guys. And with that, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.